We got this one from Jen.
Hey, Jen.
Says, we just wanted to say thank you to Shelby Elias from financewithshelby.com. Not only did he help us out with a refi quickly to pull out equity for an addition to our home, he gave us some contacts that helped us get it done. Prior to calling him for the loan, we could not get any drafters to call us back or take the project.
Oh, jeez.
The architect Shelby recommended was awesome.
Awesome.
He was quick and affordable, and now our addition is completely done. It changed our existing home that we liked into our dream home that we love.
Oh, wow.
We are so thankful to Shelby and his team. And Shelby's here.
Yay.
And now, whoa, man, I tell you what, trying to get people to take your money these days sometimes.
Oh, my gosh.
And this is
maddening.
one of Shelby's many great qualities is he knows people and he's happy to share them and recommend them. I mean, you're the first guy I think of all the time when we need everything from a house cleaner to a contractor or anything else. Well, text Shelby first. By the way, before we move on, let's get to the important stuff. Where are you on spicy foods?
Well, I actually really like spicy foods, even though my gut hates them. So it's always a terrible decision, but I always make the wrong choice.
Have you ever heard of or seen the Hot Ones show on YouTube?
No.
Where so this guy named Sean Evans interviews celebrities. They come on one at a time, and as he interviews them, they say each question comes with a hot chicken wing, and they get progressively hotter until the 10th one, which is like 2 million on the Scoville scale. It's like off the charts.
Oh,
you're gonna sweat. Anyways, we're doing that tomorrow morning, so I wanted to gauge where you were because in the future we might invite you.
All right, I like it.
To come do it with us.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
All right, with that.
Oh, God, we're going to do it again?
I think maybe only a couple people will actually do it.
Okay, perfect.
But we'll see. This one is from Danny.
Hi, Danny.
All right, this gets us right to one of the big things going on right now. First-time homeowners and all the questions that come with it. Says, my wife and I have been pondering on purchasing a home we rent at the moment. We want to know the best route or the best time. We would be first-time home buyers and have no idea where to start. Our credit scores are 815 and 750 respectively. Pretty good.
Yeah.
Our combined take-home income hovers between $7,000 and $9,000 a month. And then he starts rattling off all those first-time home buyer questions. How much of a down payment should we be aiming for? Should we clear all credit cards and vehicle debt, pay down vehicles, pay off credit cards? Should we keep all the money in the bank and look at a zero-down loan? Any advice would be appreciated. Okay, what do you do with somebody like this? He's already pretty much prepped, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, he's in a great spot for sure. But to answer some of those questions, as a first-time home buyer, the number one mistake that people make is not contacting their lender first. They usually contact a real estate agent, which is the wrong move. You want to contact a lender because the lender is going to guide you on all of those things. So some things to keep in mind. First-time home buyer, minimum down payment is 3% down on a regular conventional loan. Right now, there's a huge opportunity with CalHFA loans. The interest rate on a CalHFA loan is actually lower than the conventional loans, which is a unique opportunity. And everything in the lending world continues to change, and it changes lender by lender. That's why it's really important to contact more than one lender. And if you're in contract right now with the lender that maybe you just don't really trust, or you're like, is there something better? Give me a call. It doesn't even matter if you're already in escrow. You can still switch. And another beautiful thing, too, is since somebody else already ran your credit, they already qualified you, I don't need all of that information to be able to check it out and give you a quote on what we can do for you.
So let's go back and fill in some holes there. With this CalHFA loan, which I thought the first time you did, you had a hairball or something. Can anybody qualify for that, or who qualifies for that?
First-time home buyers qualify for CalHFA.
For any first-time home buyers.
Yeah.
What's the catch, or what's the difference, other than getting a lower or slightly lower rate?
Yeah, well, they cover the full down payment for you, which is awesome. So you can literally get 3% down, 3.5% down if you go FHA. So they cover the entire down payment, and it's a great option.
What do you mean they cover it?
They literally cover the down payment. The only thing that you have to worry about is the closing costs.
Do they rope it into the loan, or they just cover it?
They cover it for you. I mean, you have to pay it back when you sell or refinance the home.
Well, that's fantastic.
But it's sitting there like a silent second on your loan for you.
Especially this. I mean, that's right up this guy's alley.
It is. Yeah, it's a great avenue to be able to check out.
Oh, our newest homeowner has something.
I was going to say, is the credit score still the same? It has to be in the 660s, I believe, 660, 690 somewhere?
Yeah, that's really where you want your score. Again, because your consumer credit score is what most people can see when they look at their credit card statement. They're looking at Credit Karma. So when we pull for a mortgage score, it's going to be a little bit lower. So you really want to aim right around that, like 660 mark.
You said something in there that I honestly never even knew it was a thing. So I'm just wondering, like, it was probably very helpful to a lot of people. You wouldn't think when you're in escrow that you could go check someone else out. You're
Yeah.
thinking that's it.
We're
We're
done.
done, right?
Yeah.
We're done. We went through everything. This is what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're still feeling something uneasy or whatever, or if you
Yep.
just want to check and see if there's something out there, that I honestly I don't even know how many other people know that.
Well,
I mean, that's a great thing to have said.
Shelby and I have talked about this before, but not many is the answer. But and then
Yeah.
those that find out that you can, they get into that conflict problem. Oh, I've already gone this far.
They did all this work for me or whatever.
I don't want
you're
to tell
saying.
them. Or,
Yeah.
So make Shelby the bad guy. He'll figure it out.
Exactly.
But it's your money, right? So I think
Yes.
that's such a great advice.
Let's go back to because Danny really did ask like all the questions, right? That first-time homebuyers have. What about should we clear all credit cards and vehicle debt? Should we pay down vehicles, pay off credit cards, things like that? And they're already remember at $8.15 and $7.50.
So this all goes into the ultimate game plan. So what we want to do is we want to analyze exactly what your monthly income is, and it might make sense for you to pay off some of that debt because it's going to clear it up. So once you have a clear picture of, okay, this is my new mortgage payment, this is everything that goes along with buying this house. Now you can analyze your current debt and see if you feel like you're, overloaded. If you are, then I say, okay, instead of putting down 10%, let's put down 5%. Let's pay the car down. Let's pay your credit cards down. Let's pay off student loans, whatever it is, to put you in the best financial situation. But you need to really analyze where you're at and what you're comfortable with. And that's really what the difference is.
And also the reason why you start with the lender.
Exactly.
Due to the roadmap. So the other question that he had that everybody has, whether they're first-time home buyers or 20th time home buyers, when, the when part. It's not now, right? Because those interest rates, I mean, we should wait forever, right?
Man, how many times have we talked about that? The market's going to crash. Man, what's going on? To kind of touch on what is going on is there's an inventory problem, right? Everyone's heard that, but you're like, well, what does that exactly mean? The inventory problem is because most people have such low interest rates that they're not willing to sell their homes. So that means that there's less homes on the market.
So the loan that they're currently in has such a low rate. Like, I mean, I'm like, what, 2.5% or something?
Yeah.
So, yeah, for me to consider selling our home to go buy one at 6, it would be insane.
It would. Yeah. So that's what everybody's feeling right now. So that's less homes that are being sold, less homes on the market. So the market is staying high. So you think, man, interest rates keep going up. Why is the home prices not coming down? It's because most people are not willing to sell and then sign up for a much higher rate. Doesn't make sense. And we're going to see that problem for a very long time because rates were so low. So the best situation that you could be in as a buyer is don't continue to sit on the sidelines. Buy a house now. Make sure that you fully vet out your financial situation. You'd be shocked because a lot of people are trying to save up maybe 20% or 10% down, larger down payment. And it might make more sense to put less down, pay off some of your debt. And now you're shocked. You're like, wait a second, my monthly expenses are the same. Yeah, because you paid off the car, you paid off your credit cards, right? So you really want to analyze that. And what we're seeing is if you buy a house now, then sometime in the next couple years, you'll get that opportunity to be able to refinance in the future. And I'm telling you, when rates go down, all those people that have been sitting on the sidelines are now going to come in, and that's going to drive prices up. So best case scenario, you buy now. Yes, you have a higher interest rate that's going to, who knows, it might be a year, 2 years. But then you refinance and you get that lower payment, but you didn't have to pay a lot more by waiting till prices come down.
We're with Shelby Elias from financewithshelby.com. You can call us at 888-989-9811. Keep the emails coming, rad@radradio.com. You're talking about people's unwillingness to sell right now, and that all makes sense. But it made me think of a question, Shelby. I don't think I've ever really heard you ever advocate for people to sell things. Like you're always telling them, keep their homes, get a rental. So that's interesting. When do you sell? When or why would you sell property?
Yeah. Well, that's a great question.
Thank you.
Honestly, a lot of people, like I'll get them to come in and they're like, okay, I'm going to be selling my house. I'm buying new. And I'm like, well, why are you selling it? And they're like, well, I don't know. I need to use that money for my down payment.
Right. That's the most popular answer, isn't it?
It is. But what they don't realize is you could still borrow from that house for your next down payment and you can keep it. And that's that the light bulb goes off. They're like, well, wait a second. Well, then what's my payment if I do that? I'm like, well, your payment's $2,500. How much can you rent it for? $3,500. So now somebody else is paying off that home for you, and you're cash flowing $1,000 that can help you with the new payment on the other house, and you get a depreciation write-off that you only get on an investment property. So that's your best write-off period for anyone is a depreciation write-off. And once they see that, they're like, whoa, I can't believe I didn't even think of this. And it really is. That's a huge mistake. Even when you're going to list your property too, very important that you do all of the inspections up front. This is something that they do in the Bay Area as just standard practice. And everybody in our area, they don't do that. But it's very, very important. I'm listing a home in Loomis right now, and we did all the inspections up front. The house is absolutely gorgeous, fully remodeled, amazing. So you'd initially think, well, why would I need to do inspections? This place is great. Well, when they did the inspections, they found that there was a leak somewhere, and it looked like it might be a leak that was in the foundation of the home, which would be like, oh my gosh, that's terrible. You got to jackhammer the house, all that. But what they found out was, no, it was an ice maker that just didn't get properly vented out, and it was just pouring, in the bottom of the house.
That was great news to get.
Yeah, they were like, oh, man, this is awesome. Thank God we figured this out before. But if they didn't do the inspection up front, and the buyer found that in the middle of escrow, not only is the seller freaked out, but the buyer's freaked out, and it's hard to get over that in the middle of a transaction. Solved it up front. Now the buyer that comes in knows every single thing. Like, here's every inspection that you would want. They write the offer based on those. So it's just very important that you reach out to me.
So, quick question: in the situation where you own a home and then you're going to go purchase another one, but you want to rent the current one you own out,
Somebody's thinking already. I see.
Well, yeah, I need to
so
talk to
much.
Shelby about this. I'm in the process of remodeling the condo that I recently purchased. So once we get it ready to our standards where we want it to rent out, do we have to get an inspector to come inspect that before it gets rented out, or does the renter then pay for their own inspector to come look at it?
The best part is no one's inspecting it but you.
Yep.
Really?
Yeah.
So
So
it's all on me.
Yeah, it's on you. Make it look the best that it possibly can.
To whatever level he wants to.
Yep.
Renting totally different, especially in this market. Man, he's got all the leverage.
Yeah.
So then what happens with renters insurance? Say they get it and there's no inspection done and there might be a problem somewhere that wasn't identified. Is that going to be a concern later down the road?
Well, that would fall on your homeowner's insurance policy.
Oh, okay.
Now, the renter's insurance policy covers everything that they own that's in the home. So their couches, their, clothes, things like that.
Okay.
So the last time you were here, you had said something like, I'm not totally quoting you, but it was something
No,
paraphrasing.
this won't be close. This will be quite
No,
wrong.
it was something like, no one ever regrets keeping the house, right? It's
Yeah.
usually like, I should have kept that house.
Oh, yeah.
And Kyle and I were talking afterwards because he was thinking of, these things we're discussing. And I was like, dude, I've made all the financial mistakes. I said, and that was one of them. I'm like, I can think of a couple of homes we sold because you get in that mindset. Sell this one because that money is going to go toward that. It's just, and I'm like, oh God. I pulled up from, I'm like, here's my first townhome I ever bought.
Yeah.
Holy cow, what it's worth right now.
Yeah.
And what the person is and you can see they're renting it out, whoever
Yeah.
bought it, right? And I'm like, good for them. That's amazing. But it's like, you just, I don't know. When you've had that mindset and that's all that was taught to you. So it's just so great, to just, buy that one, use that money for the next one.
Yeah,
To
and-
just sell it. And so it's great that you're here to open the minds, and like, I'm excited for Kyle. I'm like, don't do what I did. Like, hold on to those
Right.
properties.
If you have to pick somebody to follow in the financial world, lean towards Shelby.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the rule. Find people that are great and successful
Yes,
at what
and-
you're trying to do and follow
Yes.
them.
And listen to the ones that made the mistakes and don't make those same mistakes.
Okay, so I want to go back to something that you said. You were talking about that when rates go down, because it's something we have to remind. They will.
Oh, yeah.
People feel like we're living this perpetual. It hasn't been a year yet of quote high rates.
Yeah.
It'll take a while, but they will go down.
Rates go down in markets where we're in a recession. We still haven't even announced that we're in a recession. So
Although Deutsche Bank came out this morning and said there's a 100% certainty we will go
Yeah.
into a recession.
Wow.
we'll see. There you go. I mean,
Okay, now the other thing, talk about reaching out to you. First emailer we had, oh my God, we couldn't get a contractor. Shelby's incredible. And all this advice you have, and you just gave out all this free advice about renting and inspections. Andrea says, I just wanted to say how amazing Shelby is, and I really hope people take what he is saying to heart. I messaged him on Instagram all year long trying to prep to buy this house. His advice got my credit score as low as 490 to a 751.
Damn.
And as of 3 days ago, we are now officially homeowners.
Oh.
Thank you, Shelby, for all your advice. I could never emphasize how grateful we are.
Oh.
To you.
I love it.
That is so fantastic. We got this email just now from Karen.
Hi, Karen.
Everything is, call Shelby first. Call Shelby first. Even if you're in the middle of something, she says, I'm in the middle of getting a HELOC. What's that?
A home equity line of credit.
Do you do those? I don't want to refinance as I have a lovely 2.625% rate.
Yeah, and that's a great answer too. A lot of people call in a lender, and that lender wants to refinance them because the commission's higher on a refinance than a home equity line of credit. So they'll talk them into refinancing their home and getting out of that rate when it's not. And that's where it all comes down to reputation, right? You want to trust somebody that has a great reputation. So they call in and they give great advice and they say, hey, Shelby's the best. If you don't deal with somebody that has that reputation, they could potentially put you in something that would be more beneficial for them. Same goes along with real estate, right? You contact a real estate agent first. What do they want you to do? They obviously want you to list that house because now they're going to list it. They're going to qualify for another, buy. But on my side, I'm always just looking out for what is the best financial move that you can possibly make, because then we win together. You're going to see how beneficial it is to keep that house, and then you're going to want to buy more rentals. So it's delayed gratification for me, and luckily I'm going to be in this industry for a long time. So then you're going to come back and you're going to buy your next rental property from me. So it is very important, whether you're looking to list, whether you're looking to buy a new home, buy a home from a builder, just reach out to me first, and I'll guide you.
We're going to get to buying a home from a builder in a second, too. But Daniel wants to know, are there any good VA loan programs right now?
VA loan is the best loan that you can possibly have access to.
All the time, period.
It is. Get the lowest interest rates, zero money down. You can oftentimes get all of your closing costs covered. There's no monthly mortgage insurance, which makes your payment a lot lower. Best loan you can do.
Alex, good morning.
Good morning, guys.
Hey.
Hi.
My question for Shelby. I'm sole proprietor. I got my own paint company. No employees. It's only me. What's the criteria to start looking for first-time home buyers with the sole proprietor?
Reach out to Shelby. And then he'll say.
Well, we need to analyze your income. And for anybody that's self-employed, it's very important that you do contact a lender probably 6 months before you're looking to buy. The reason is because I can tell you what you would need to qualify with your taxes, because as self-employed, obviously we all want to try to write off as much as possible, but they only qualify you based on the amount that after your write-offs, and we're going to average 2 years of your income. So if you contact me before you file, then I can have a conversation with your CPA and say, okay, maybe we don't be as aggressive this year because he's looking to qualify for a $500,000 home.
Okay, to that point, similar but different, Victoria says, how does job longevity affect being approved for a home loan? I've been in my current job for 2 years, great company. It's restructuring our line of business. We will become outsourced contractors if the company takes us on as employees.
If you go from a W-2'd employee to a 1099'd employee, then you have to wait 2 years to buy. So you'd want to buy before you go to be 1099'd. Now, if you go from 1099 to W-2'd, you're all good. A lot of people also think that because you switch jobs, you have to wait a certain amount of time to qualify.
I've heard that forever.
I know everybody
Yeah.
thinks that. It's
Yeah,
not
same.
necessarily
I've
true.
been working for 2 years before you buy. Yeah.
Especially if you have a salary. You're good. You take that salary right away.
Talking
No
to
time.
Shelby Elias from United Wholesale Lending and financewithshelby.com. Hello there, Heather. Go ahead.
Good morning. Good morning, Shelby. So I just had an idea hit me that I hadn't thought of, and I wanted to know if I would technically be a first-time home buyer right now. We sold a house about 2.5 years ago, and when we went to buy the new one, my husband and I had a credit card that I didn't even really use, and it went 60 days late, which has never happened to me, and my credit got dinged. So I'm not on the current loan on our new house. I'm on the deed. So I didn't know if that would make me a first-time home buyer again or not.
Yeah. So if you were unmarried, then that could potentially work. But since you're on the deed is actually what dictates the ownership, not the loan. So because you're on that, you are an owner of a house. So you can't qualify for a first-time home
All the
buyer.
benefits that do come financially with being married. Never mind about the relationship. That there are marriage penalties, and that's one of the dings in that direction.
Yeah.
There's two emails we got that I want to get to because they emailed as soon as they heard you're going to be on, and they're both very unique. Jennifer says our daughter is 18 and graduating and wants to rent a place of her own, but of course can't afford it. We've always wanted a rental home. We were thinking it would benefit her and us for us to buy another home and let her rent it, but we don't have the 20% down. Is there a way to make her the primary borrower on a loan and we co-sign for her so she will qualify for first-time homebuyer programs? Whew.
Yeah, so you can. So it's a little bit tricky because you can't structure this as, their investment property and then get first-time homebuyer benefits. Like, that doesn't work. But what you could do is you can put her as the primary. It's her primary residence. And now you can co-sign for her. She can use the first-time homebuyer benefits. She wouldn't even have to have a job, which is crazy.
Yeah.
So as long as you qualify and you take on the income responsibility, then you can co-sign for her. And this is a great avenue for people that have kids that are going away to college, because college kids love to rent out a room. So you can rent out the other rooms. It's still her primary. You help her qualify, and she could be a first-time home buyer.
And I know we keep beating this drum this morning, but that in particular, there's a scenario where you can't do this alone. You've got to go to a guy like Shelby to guide through that many, because there's nothing wrong with what he described, but it's convoluted and it's difficult for amateurs, and if they went to the real estate broker first, they're not going to help you at all.
Yeah.
You've got to go through the finance guy.
Exactly.
Another one, somebody else wrote in, long story short, they're looking to rent their home for the first time. You talked a lot about how to do that earlier. One of the questions we get all the time, and they were wondering about, is do we do it ourselves? Do we have a rental management company do it? Which dings you on what you bring home, but does it say, where do you fall on saving the headache of being the landlord and having somebody else handle it?
Yeah, so you have to really, I explore a lot of different questions with my clients that are looking to do this. And it's really, are you willing to put in the work? Because it is going to be a little bit of work. And you have to actually vet that person out. So there's, even on like some of the websites that are out there, they will run the credit, they'll run a background check, they'll help you qualify these individuals. But I like to do it myself because I want them to meet me. I want to look at them in the eyes, and then I look for red flags. I look at their bank statements and see, okay, where do they spend their money? I look at how much money that they have left over every single month. I don't want somebody else to try to fit them into a box. I want to be able to look at them and have them meet me. That way, if anything comes up, then they know, like, I'm not just, screwing over this rental agency. It's Shelby. Like, I don't want to screw him over. And so I like to do it myself and qualify the borrowers, but you can't take shortcuts. You can't just say, oh, well, my friend referred me to this person, so they got to be good. You have to go through the proper steps to verify everything that they're giving you, make sure that it's true. The number one thing that I would do too is I would look for references, not from their current landlord. Because of course, if he's not getting paid, he's like, I want to get this guy out of here. So that person's gonna lie and tell you what you want to hear. That way they can get rid of that tenant. So I go 2 tenants back, and I think that it's great. It's a great learning lesson, and I think that it protects you more by doing it yourself.
You alluded to builders earlier, and we keep saying we'll call the lender first, call Shelby first, call Shelby first. What about just walking into a new home builder community? They don't need to call you first for that, do they?
Have to. So on the real estate side, again, I own a real estate company and a mortgage company. And on the real estate side, this is a really easy way for us to be able to give back. And the builder pretty much does that real estate transaction for you. So a way that I can really give benefit is not only can we go over the community and everything that it offers, but If I walk you through that home for the first time and you put me down on there, we can give you a credit back that'll contribute to your closing costs. So on a brand new home build, we can credit you back as much as 50% of the commission back to you that will help cover all of your closing costs. Could potentially cover upgrades. Like it's a great avenue. And again, people are thinking like, well, why would you do this? Well, because it's going to come back. They're going to refer their friend and say, oh my gosh. And Redfin does this, and some of the other real estate companies do this too. If you use us to list, we'll credit you back. It's the same thing. So, I have a platform that allows me to reach a lot of people. And if I use that to help everybody out, then we all win.
Hello there, Laren. Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
I was wondering about VA loans. So my husband and I currently have a VA loan. We were able to buy our house last July, but we were hoping to move out of state in the next couple of years.
Who isn't?
But I was wondering, is there like a max on how many times that you can get a VA loan, or is it the one and done?
There is a max. So you would have to contact us up front to see exactly how much of your VA benefits are used. But one of the benefits, of VA is that if you've been in it long enough, you have enough equity, you can refinance out of that VA loan, keep the house, and then now your VA loan becomes re-eligible because you're no longer using it because you refied that loan out of VA into conventional. So instead, a lot of people think, oh, well, I have to sell this home in order to reuse my VA loan. You don't. You just have to refinance that loan out of VA, and then you become eligible for your new house as a VA.
You can follow Shelby on Instagram, Shelby Elias, Elias. Is that the best way to reach you too, by the way? I mean, directly, just go right to United Wholesale Lending.
Yeah,
with Shelby.
and the link in my bio on my Instagram page, you can even just book a call right on there through my Calendly. But that's a great way to reach me.
Are you a pilot yet?
Not yet.
No? Are you close? How close are you?
I'm getting closer. Yeah. Logging hours.
Oh, yeah, you're taking off. You're flying. You're landing.
Yeah.
With the guy in the seat.
Yeah, I'm making sure that I don't kill myself when I land. That's the scariest part, is the landing.
Happy early Father's Day.
Oh, thank you very much.
It's Shelby Elias from financewithshelby.com. Always great having you, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
We're